Chapter 1. On this sweltering June night, the Picardie is in almost total darkness. A single feeble bulb illuminates the main staircase. Although the light is too dim to reach anywhere else, blackout blinds are in place on every window. Max is standing at one of the tall windows in the lobby. He will not get to bed tonight. All is quiet but for the occasional creak of the Picardie's timbers cooling from the heat of the day. The plumbing, to which Max is ever attentive, has been silent for a good hour and more, meaning that upstairs, on the two upper floors, Major Egon Wolff and his aide are snugly asleep in their respective rooms. Both men dined well this evening on Chef Bruno's bœuf bourguignon. Max kept their wine glasses well charged. Afterwards, Bruno helped him clear the dining room. "I'll stay here tonight if you like," offered Bruno, a great hulk of a man, his bushy moustache yellowed by cigarette smoke. Max shook his head and crated the empty wine bottles. "No need. Go home. Nothing I can't handle on my own." "Even if there are 3 of them? You said 3. "I can manage." Now Max peels back an edge of the blackout blind, just enough to allow him to watch the night outside. Behind him, Duc Henri gleams dimly in the shadows. There's a little wooden mannequin that Dr. Pierre Ramelin, Dinon's elderly physician, keeps in the window of his surgery. It looks like the kind of oddity an artist might possess, but according to Pierre, is a traditional teaching aid used by Chinese physicians. Its limbs can be moved into various positions. Pierre uses it to amuse and distract his younger patients. This morning, when Max cycled past the surgery on his way to the mairie, his customary route, he saw that the mannequin's right arm was raised and the hand positioned as if waving a friendly greeting to passers-by. The figure's coolie hat was tilted at a rakish angle. The mannequin seemed to be smiling, but that was merely one of its tricks. Sometimes it smiled, sometimes it frowned, depending on the angle from which it was viewed. At this early hour, Pierre could still be out on his morning calls, so Max continued on to the mairie. It was a normal morning. He tackled the day's crop of mayoral tasks, property disputes between neighbors to resolve, council meetings to plan. Hortense, his secretary, fussed and griped in her usual way about the presence of Egon Wolff a few paces away in his commandantur offices on the other side of the mairie's entrance hall. "He uses the same front door as us, Max, the same entrance hall. There's no getting away from them, those damned Germans. It demeans the mairie having Wolff here, right next door to us, and it turns my stomach." "Get used to it, Hortense." Her nose was in the air, as if a foul odor had offended it. "Never, Max. Never." A normal morning. At lunchtime, he retrieved his bicycle from the lane by the mairie. Wolff's aide, smoking a cigarette outside the side door, watched him. Max paid no heed. There was always a German somewhere, watching. It was by now the hottest part of the day. Dogs slept in any patches of shade they could find. The sun beat down on the almost empty streets, where there were more Germans to be seen than ordinary Dinonnais. Some of the Germans were on patrol duty, and some were just passing time. Local people had more sense than to be out in such temperatures, while the Germans had no choice if they were on duty or at leisure away from their barracks, apart from the choice they made when they marched into France in the first place. A young trooper was trying to make the most of the shallow strip of shade cast by the surgery building. It achieved little for him. He was turned out in full kit of helmet, boots and gaiters, his belt and webbing heavy with ammunition pack, pistol and other equipment. His Wehrmacht uniform of grey serge, Feldgrau the Germans called it, field grey, was damp with sweat, his face and neck also streaming with sweat. His rifle seemed too big for him. He looked as if he might collapse at any moment. Max arrived just as Pierre was propping his bicycle against the wall. A stooping figure, as reassuringly white-haired and wise-looking as any medical man could be. The very sight of Pierre was